Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday morning, the day after Memorial Day, and I do hope everyone had a relaxing time. And as I said in my written announcement, I hope everybody took the time to just appreciate what the day is all about and what it means, and how really, when you're talking about a course in diversity in a society that should be recognizing and embracing diversity, the whole concept of Memorial Day and honoring those who gave their lives for the ideals of this country and what it means. I think there's a real significance to it in that context, and I just hope you took the time to think about that for a minute. Welcome to the halfway point of the course. We've made it through now. We're into week 5, so we're going into even more detail on more topics that we really need to discuss. And last week in week 4, there were a couple of big ones, weren't there? Race and gender. Something we maybe don't appreciate how much let's be honest, discriminatory activities still go on in those two some major components of our society. And it was something where I did not participate as much in the discussion board as I might. Usually I've been full of questions for everybody. And this week I kind of sat back and kept reading and kept thinking and kept trying to get my head around how much maybe that I haven't experienced in my life. And it's very true. I really, for me, this past week of teaching this course, and I think this one coming up, are going to illustrate for me some very big points about my experience and what maybe it has been and what it hasn't been. I will be very frank, I've been very privileged. I've been a component of the society that really hasn't experienced much discriminatory activity. We have been the discriminators, I think, in some cases, and it's there. But I do think back as to what were some very significant experiences, and as one in particular I can maybe illustrate as we go forth into this week, where we're going to talk about stuff that is really maybe even more reflective of what we do, is when not so much the religion part of it. Religion can be confusing, I think, to a lot of people, and we're going to talk about that. But the whole idea of economic status, and it's very important, and I'd just like to relate one little experience that I had. Not little, it's something I did for a number of years as a consultant, and in my consulting career, in my consulting firm, I headed up the international section. And one of our major clients was the Nigerian government. Now, Nigeria is the largest by population country in sub-Saharan Africa. And if you can imagine your client being the government and the national oil company and the central bank and those agencies, you're dealing with folks who are pretty well up in the socioeconomic strata. Yet, when you talk about some of the topics that we've talked about, I used to do leadership development and executive development programs for those institutions. And in many cases, I was the only white person in the room when that happened. I was surrounded by Africans, and Africans of different ethnic African groupings. And that was another diversity issue I learned about very quickly. But you might think that as the only white guy in the room, I'd been a little bit of discomfort. And yet I found myself very comfortable. And so when I actually sat back and said, why did I feel that way? This might have been a chance for me to experience an entirely different feeling. And then it came upon me these were folks from my own socioeconomic status. They were executives. They were educated. They were people in positions of authority. They were management. Guess where my career had taken me? Right out of college. I've always been in management. I've always been in executive positions. I've been primarily surrounded by white males for most of my career. And suddenly, because I was surrounded by black males, didn't make a difference. They were the managerial class, the directorial class, the executive class. And that's probably why I felt comfortable. And I think that's very telling, and I think it's something that we need to appreciate. I also began to appreciate that in dealing, I'll stick with my Nigerian experience, that those folks were dealing with a situation that we had where there were three distinct major ethnic groupings within the country. The Igbo tribe, the Yoruba tribe, the Hausa Fulani tribesmen. And guess what? They didn't necessarily like each other, and they didn't necessarily trust each other. And it led to many, many problems, and right going back to one of the most significant being the Nigerian Civil War, the Biafran crisis back in the early 70s, and it was one of the terrible events that went on there. So, race isn't just color. Race has a lot of components, and a lot of people mention that. So I thought the discussions were great. I really did. I was really, like I said, I may have not answered everybody, but I certainly read every last post, and it was very, very interesting and very, very telling. And I think it gave a lot of people a lot of chances to voice their opinions and to start understanding not only the group that we have here, but the groups you've been part of, the groups you are part of, and how you want to see the groups you will be part of behave. And this week we will just extend that into the concepts of socioeconomic class, which is a really big one, and religion, which is very sensitive for a lot of people, and it's where a lot of our beliefs and practices come. So that's on the material side. The content side, I hope everybody took an extra day to get the assignments done. Look, I appreciate that this class is a ton of work, and it is a lot of work for everyone, but I think it's important that we do it because the topic is so important, and how we participate and share information with each other, and the openness of the discussion has been great. The quality of the papers has been very good. I think we are getting better at doing things that help us communicate our ideas well, and we're going to continue to do that. So as I said, the commentary that I use will probably be a little less lengthy, simply because unless there's been a major change, I think people are settling into a pattern, and it's a good pattern, so I'm very happy with it. If you do have any questions, please, as always, contact me. I really can't say it enough. This class has been a challenge. This class has been one of the most fun experiences I've had in teaching, particularly online. The diversity of our own group really shows, and it really, I think, is helping to our overall education, not just as managers, but as members of a society. And I think that's important. So thank you again. Hope we have a good week, and I will try to check back with everybody later this week. Thank you.